Hello, everybody. Hey, what are the things making you exhausted isn't the work, but it's the weather you keep mistaking for the sky. What does that mean? New cycle, new truth. Joy is the sky, my friends, squad. Hey, it's time. Let's dance. Hey, everybody. I'm your host, Sheryl Whitaker. It starts with Joy Live. Joy is what gives you that nerve to do it. Organizations reward tactical excellence. They promote strategic visibility.
Visibility just means a bigger target when things go wrong.
The shadows will not protect you, Beatrice.
Sheryl's is Beatrice, mine is Pinky. She's my inner critic. A group of women who are all trying to do the same thing, create safe space.
What if you've done everything right? The system still can't see it. You have to speak your truth.
Say what you want to the right people. You're not just something at the table.
You can go to TEDxSouthLake.com. Applications are open right now through May 6th. Go find this app. It starts with Joy Live. The homework is going to be there. Let's keep dancing.
It starts with...
Woo! You guys always catch me dancing. I just love it. Good morning, Joy Squad. Welcome to It Starts with Joy Live. This is episode 9. Wow, I can't believe it. And I'm your girl, Sheryl Whitaker. I can say my name. And I'm so happy you're here. We are streaming live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and hopefully for the first time, we're also streaming live on Facebook. So if you're here live, if you are part of the replay crew, whatever, I'm just so happy that you're here and we're welcoming you. Thanks so much for shining a light. Who's here today? Hey, good morning, Susie. Good morning, girl. You are here every week. I appreciate you so much, and everyone else who's able to show up. So listen, I need to tell you something before we get started. How did this happen? But we are actually at a new cycle. So we keep moving through our JoyShift method, and we're back at week 1, which is Joy Aware. And if you've been with us, you know what that means. That means that we're about to name a truth that we have been avoiding. Sounds very woo, but we're doing it. So my question for you, and I want you to be really honest about this. I'm trying to be honest with it myself. When was the last time you felt exhausted, but not because you worked too hard, but because you couldn't stop deciding every little thing, every email, every meeting, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? All day, every day. And we call it leadership. So we're going there today. And our guest, she didn't just name it. She built a whole framework around it. She talks about it. And she lives it, running not 1, but 2 businesses with her twin sister. And she's about to tell us how she does it all. I have a lot of questions for our guest today. And of course, we've got Beatrice and Atlas. They're in my head. We've got Cycle 3, JoyShift homework. And I have some things I need to say out loud that I've been carrying quietly for a while, and that's become a theme. So, I was just going to call out and say, drop in a chat, but I don't even have to anymore. Hi, Donna. Good morning. Madge Linda. Susie. Madge Linda's like she's having problems, but I'm seeing all the emojis coming. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. So, question though, if you could put in the chat or just think about it in your mind, how many decisions did you already make today before the show even started? Drop a number. Mine is I'm about up to 50 decisions already made this morning. So there's a lot going on. And by the way, don't forget, I'm going to call it out a lot. The app is live. It starts with joy.live. So my friends, squad, time to do it. I know there's something going on in my head. Hi, Beatrice and Atlas. Good morning.
She wants us to stop deciding? Right. Let me just drop all these spinning plates and watch the entire week shatter.
They might shatter, but whose plates are you actually carrying, love? You're exhausted from doing everyone else's lifting.
If I don't make the call, everything falls apart. It's called being responsible. Someone has to keep the lights on.
Is it responsibility or is it just control? Dressing up as competence to hide the fear?
It isn't fear, it's gravity. If I stop holding it all together, the system crashes and my name is on the wreckage.
You're confusing the chaos with the job.
What if letting go of the decisions is the decision?
Okay, shit. There's a lot going on there. By the way, in case anybody is wondering if I know what's going on in my head from transition to transition, I have no idea. So I am living it and experiencing Beatrice and Atlas in real time with you. And that's the reason why I'm always just like shocked. But whoo, there's a lot going on there. Hi, Ingrid. Hi, Jonathan. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Thanks for being here. Okay. It's confession time, and I have one to make. Again, it seems like I made one last week. I'm going to do it again this week. And it's one of those confessions that's going to sound like a humble brag at first, but I promise you that is not what it's about. But here's the thing. This is my confession. I used to be very, very proud of how much I carried. Like really proud. I wore it like a badge. And I'm talking about during like my work time, right? I would look at everything on my plate. I'd look at all the decisions that I had to make in a day, handling the team, handling, the business stakeholders. I'm handling the schedules, fires, all of it. And I would look around at the end of the day and think like, yep, that's what I do. That's what I do. And it's cool because those folks out there who have worked with me, you might be really surprised to hear me say this because I'm a very collaborative person, a very collaborative leader. And at the same time, though, although I would gather folks to make decisions, to help make a decision, the weight of those decisions, I always felt them completely on me. That's just how I've been. And my background, I ran insurance teams for years, big teams, complex operations. Every single day, there were 100 decisions that came across my desk. Some are really big, some small. But I felt like all of them were mine, or at least that's what I believed, that they were all mine. And the thing that nobody's talking about is that when you're the person who decides everything, people start to depend on that. They start to depend on that. Can you relate? Who are the decision makers out there? We're making thousands and thousands of decisions every single day. People depend on you if you're the one who's always making the decision. They start making their own because they know you'll make them. And then you'll start to resent them for not stepping up, but you created the system. You trained everyone around you to wait for you. And you might call it thorough. That's what I did. Call it being thorough, responsible, being a good leader. But that's not leadership. It wasn't for me. It wasn't leadership. It's control dressed up as competence. So I'm going to say that again because I'm saying it to myself too. That is control dressed up as competence. And the worst part, I was tired. I was so exhausted, not from the work, but from the weight of all those decisions, right? There's a difference. The work energized me. I loved it. But the decisions, the constant never-ending stream of what should we do about this? And how do you want to handle that? That was a thing slowly draining my battery. And I didn't even know it had a name. I just called it being a leader. And so thinking about this, when I was putting this monologue together, I had to think about like, what was the tipping point? And for me, it was a conversation. I was reporting to the amazing Jennifer Tice. Jennifer, if you're out there, I know you might be watching this on a replay. So she's going to remember this moment because we talk about it a lot. We were down in San Antonio, both of us. This was when I was working at USAA at the time. We both were. And we were just having dinner. And I asked her for some feedback. I asked her for some specific feedback about my performance, how I was showing up. And she was just, talk about a leader, a joyful leader. She was very much so leading from that place. And I couldn't get her, though, to like tell me like, what do I need to work on? And she's like, oh, I don't know, you're so great with this and this and that. And I was like, no. And I had to think about another way to get her to like tell me. So I asked her, what's a blind spot? What is a blind spot for me? And she said, she thought about it. She looked down, she thought about it for a second. And she said, Sheryl, you are awfully self-sufficient. And I was like, whoa. So what was she saying to me? She was saying to me that I was moving as if I could do it all on my own. Ooh, that is a theme for me. And let me tell you, and it definitely was a tipping point because from that point on, I started to really think about how I was showing up for myself and for my team. And it's something that I didn't really see until until later, like really thinking about it, that the exhaustion wasn't coming from the volume of my decisions. Ultimately, when I heard it from Jennifer, I started thinking about the fear that was underneath every single one of those decisions, because that was a part of my self-sufficiency. Fear of being wrong, fear of what happens if someone else decides and they get it wrong, fear that letting go means losing control. We talked about this, right, a few weeks ago, recovering control freak here. And losing control means everything falls apart. Like that Beatrice, the storm that she's in, stomping around, that's happening. That is real. It's happening in my head. Ingrid's contemplating it. I know you're thinking about it, girl. So that's what decision fatigue really is. It's not a productivity problem. It's a fear problem, that F word. Every time I redecided something that should have already been settled, I wasn't being thorough. I was really just being afraid. Every time I took back a decision, I delegated. I wasn't being responsible. I was being scared. And every time I carried a choice that should have been a system, I was choosing fear over trust. So I was living in the weather and calling it the sky. I'll explain more about what that means in a little bit. So here's what I know for sure. Every decision I was making that didn't need to be mine, that was a decision I was stealing from someone else's growth. But I love developing folks. I love seeing folks grow. So that is like a killer for me. Every time I said, I'll just do it myself, I was telling my team, I don't trust you, even if that wasn't my intention. It was not my intention. And every time I carried a choice that should have been a system, I was choosing control over joy every single time. And so the moment I started to see it, like really see it, everything shifted. Not overnight, but the awareness, joy aware, the naming of it, that, my friends, that's where joy gets its breath.
Control dressed up as competence? If I don't double check the work, it goes out wrong. That isn't control, it is quality assurance.
But you built that dependency, didn't you? You trained your team to wait for your final say instead of trusting their own.
Because the stakes are too high to trust a process over my own eyes. One bad call costs us the client.
And making every single call is costing you your clarity. Fatigue degrades judgment. You're trading long-term strategy for short-term perfection.
So I just step back, let the chips fall where they may, while I look at the sky?
No, you build a system you can actually trust. Let's look at the data on what happens when you refuse to.
Oh, yeah, Beatrice, just look up and look at the sky. Oh, the sky is it's a little bit partly cloudy today. So today's April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day, Joy Squad. So I want to talk about the biggest fool's game I know. And it's not a prank that someone is playing on you. It's the one that you're playing on yourself every day. And I've been kind of teasing about it, right? But this is the thing. It's the one where you believe the weather is actually the sky. So let me explain all of that, because this has been sitting with me for weeks and I want to say it out loud. This is a great time to do so. Sumar, hi, welcome, my friend. Welcome. I wrote something recently. Some of you may have seen it. It was like last week. I wrote about joy, no kidding. And the thing I keep coming back to is this. Joy is not a feeling. It's not what you feel when things are going well. That's happiness. And happiness comes and goes. It's the weather, a good meeting, a bad email, a win, a loss, all that. It's weather. But joy is the sky. And the sky doesn't disappear when clouds roll in. You know, if you think about it, when's the last time you got on a plane and you left on like a gray, rainy, like a heavy day, and then you push up, you're going through the turbulence and everything, and above every single cloud, all of a sudden it's like it's blue, right? If it's during the day, it's blue and it's sunny, nothing but blue and light. And the coolest thing about that sky is that it was there the whole time. We just couldn't see it from the ground. And so here's why I'm saying this today. I know it's heavy out there right now. I'm not going to pretend it's not. To say that there's a lot happening in our world is an understatement, and it's loud and it's scary and it's confusing. And so I'm not going to name it because that's not what this room is for. This show is always, we're doing something different here. This is a room where we choose joy on purpose, not because we're ignoring the reality of what's going on, but because joy is not the absence of hard things. Joy is the sky. That is going to be on a t-shirt and a coffee mug, I promise you. And the sky doesn't disappear just because there are clouds. So here's where this full game comes in. And here's where it connects to everything we're talking about today. We tell ourselves that staying busy, staying in control, making every decision, carrying every load, that is strength. That's leadership. That's how you survive the storm. April Fools, squad. That's just the weather pretending to be the sky. That's the clouds telling you that they're all there is, and we have been falling for it. So decision fatigue isn't a productivity issue. It's a governance risk. It's a leadership performance issue. That's what we're talking about today. Because decision fatigue causes clouds and it hinders our ability to see the joy. So companies these days are making worse decisions than ever because their leaders are too tired, too fatigued to think clearly, and nobody's naming it. But of course we are. Forbes calls this the paradox of 2026. Leaders are exhausted, but guess what? We're reaching for more complexity instead of simplicity. So this is not a fringe conversation anymore, and it's not one that we're just having here on It Starts With Joy. This is mainstream. Look it up. But here's what none of these reports say. None of them use the word joy. None of them say, hey, the reason you're drowning in decisions is because you forgot the sky was there. You got so focused on the weather, the chaos, the inbox, the fires, the 47 decisions that we have to make before breakfast, that you forgot there was something above all that, something steady, something that doesn't change with the forecast. And here's the part that really gets me, because I've lived this, and I know you have too. I wrote about this in a newsletter a few weeks ago. Decisions in organizations don't just get made once. They don't get made once. They get made 2 times, 3 times. The meeting ends, everyone nods, and then the real conversations happens in the hallway, in Slack, sidebar after sidebar. The decision gets reopened, not because new information surfaced, but because nobody felt safe enough to say the real thing the first time. And that is exhausting. I'm exhausted just talking about it. The exhaustion isn't coming from the work. It's coming from all the things people aren't saying. Carrying around unsaid thoughts is like doing bicep curls all day. Your arms are tired, but you have nothing to show for it. And the reason people don't say the real thing, tell me if you know, call it out in the chat. You know what I'm going to say. The F word, fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being the dissenter. Fear of rocking the boat in a room where the weather already feels very, very stormy. So that's not a systems problem, squad. It's a fear problem, and fear is just the weather. And the sky will still be there waiting for you and Beatrice when you decide to look up. So here's the thing. Here are my questions for you. First one, where are you letting the weather make your decisions? Where? Where are you reacting to the chaos instead of leading from something deeper? Where is the noise choosing for you? That's the first one. Second one, what decisions are you carrying that are just clouds? Things that look urgent, but they're not yours. Things that feel heavy, but would blow past if you stop gripping onto them, holding on to them so tight. Name them. And the third one is, what would your week look like if you led from the sky instead of the weather? If you stopped reacting to every gust and started leading from the thing that doesn't move. The thing that doesn't move is joy. The thing that doesn't move is the sky. That's the shift. That's the awareness. And that, my friends, is what this whole cycle is about. So those are the questions. Chat, you seem kind of quiet today. Let me know you're out there, and let me know if this is resonating with you. What's a decision you keep making that should already be a system? Name it. Let it go. Let it go. The sky is waiting. And so before we bring our guest on just an observation about today, because I realize it and I think it really matters. Today is April 1st, April Fool's Day, right? And the fool's game of believing the weather is the sky. But today is also the first day. Did you know this? It's the first day of Stress Awareness Month. Stress Awareness Month. Who's stressed? Who's stressed out there? And we're opening a brand new cycle. What a great time for stress awareness and for joy awareness to be happening on the same day, right? So this whole episode is like one calendar square. The fool's game is the stress, and the awareness is how we stop playing it. So now I want to bring out the Roslyn Rice. She is here, and we're going to get into decisions and decision fatigue with her today. She says something that blows my mind. She says, decide once and let the system carry the load. I was like, what? I'm excited to hear more and learn from her today. I know you will be too. So Zola, time to introduce.
We all face moments when a door slams shut. Someone else decides your journey is over, and you have a choice to make. That moment hit our next guest after 25 years in corporate retail. Leadership told her she had gone as far as possible, but Roslyn Rice refused to let someone else write her ending. She took those words and turned her pain into deep purpose. When the 2020 layoff happened, she used it as fuel. She partnered with her twin sister Renee to build 2 thriving businesses. They launched Double Portion Inspiration as a powerhouse consulting firm. The name beautifully honors a phrase their mother always used for them. Roslyn didn't just survive those heavy career transitions. She built brilliant systems to carry the weight and eliminate decision fatigue. This leader knows burnout hits women the hardest. She speaks for the National Association of Women Business Owners to help protect their energy. She graduated from the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women program. Also wrote the #1 best-selling book, What's Next? Deep faith drives her forward every single day. She asks the Lord for the next right step and simply takes it. Her core framework teaches us to make a decision once. After that, you let the system do the hard work. Joy Squad, please welcome the co-founder of DPI LLC. Let's give a massive greeting to Roslyn.
Woo! Roslyn! How did you love that intro?
Oh my goodness. I'm like, who's that woman? Beautiful. Beautiful.
Absolutely. You are so amazing. I am so excited you were here. Thank you so much for saying yes. You are a true badass. Got your book right here.
Yes.
Yes. I couldn't find a green shirt. I want to wear green today to match this, but I couldn't find one. So, but I tried. Thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. It's beautiful, sunny outside. No clouds here, but the sky is there.
It is. The sky is there. Joy is the sky. Where are you coming? Where are you coming to us from?
I am coming to you from South Florida and just excited to be a part of the Joy Squad. Hi, Joy Squad.
Yay. Roslyn and I, we met, was it now? I guess we're going on 3 years ago at a conference. Yeah. And you're the reason why we all ended up there, a bunch of us, a bunch of colleagues and friends. And so for me, it's like full circle for you to be here. I was in such a different place when you and I met. And so this feels good for me today.
Yeah. So your journey was just starting.
Yeah, I was just
Look at where you are.
No, I know. We're all on this journey together. So
yes.
Thank you. So what I love to do with my guests, we like to do a hot take.
Yes.
Before we get into you. And this one I think it's going to resonate with you. I can't wait. You haven't seen it yet. So Mildred, let's run to a hot take and let's see what we think about it.
I actually think the greatest consequence in life is not keeping commitments to yourself. I think it compounds as personal evidence, which is deposited in this instruction manual of who you are and how you behave and how you show up and what you're capable of. All those tiny little commitments. And then I think you can get into a downward commitment spiral. Isn't it really lovely to know that maybe the way to turn that into a positive, upward reinforcing spiral is just keep that tiny commitment you made to yourself today. Yeah. Like, you don't have to move Mount Everest. You don't need to go on a 7-day ayahuasca retreat. How about when you said you were going to get in bed at 10 p.m., you do that. Yep. And you stack that. Honestly, I've seen it in my friends and their lives have changed. The commitments we keep to ourselves, if we say those are the most important things for compounding that evidence in our favor, everybody can start there today. Like, yesterday's out of play, but the next thing you do in the next hour, can you keep that commitment to yourself? That's what I think a lot about. I think life is much more simple than we often make out.
Whoa. Oh. Whoa. He says, I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget, the most dangerous person to break a promise to isn't your boss. It isn't your partner. It's you. That was in the comments of the video. What does that bring up for you?
Oh, I love that. I absolutely agree. I actually track the commitments I make to myself. One of them being, as a woman of a certain age, wanting to stretch in the evenings. And I find it hard because I get under my blanket, and that area of comfort is hard to break out of, to get up and get back on the mat and actually do some stretching. I would have already worked out that morning, but being able to keep that commitment will turn into a very positive habit that will serve my future self.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with that hot take that, you need to just start with the commitments that we make to ourselves, whatever it might be.
Wow. So you said you have a tracker? Tell me, I'm curious about that. You have a tracker?
Yeah, I have this incredible planner that I use, and you get 3 different items that you can track. So if you've made a commitment that you want to hydrate more, whatever the daily habit might be that you want to tune into. For me, I want to get more fiber. I want to stretch in the evenings. I want to do strength training 3 times a week. And I struggle with those things. And so those commitments I started at the beginning of the year. And so I track every day. Because I know my future self needs. Yeah. And I really think about, Sheryl, what does the future self need today? Right. So Joy Squad, what does your future self need today?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I absolutely love that. Okay. So I'm going to have to, Ingrid's giving a hands up for that one. Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking about it when I watched this video. What struck me is that it's like so easy to keep commitments for other people, but not to keep commitments for yourself. And that in itself is a very important decision to make.
I agree. When we think about when we're able to see someone else, the only person in this room that I can't see is myself. So when I can see the disappointment on someone, if I don't keep that commitment, that stays with me. Yeah. But when I don't keep it for myself, I don't see myself. Yes, there is a mirror and I can see a reflection of who I am, but I can't actually see myself, right? I'll go to the grave never having seen myself in that truth. So it's easier to just say, I'll do it another day, another time. Yeah. And postpone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about like making yourself your own accountability partner. We always talk about the importance of others holding us accountable. But wow, if we could just make that promise and commitment to ourselves and make that decision.
Yes.
That's really, really important. I think that's really important. So
agreed.
Yes. Thanks for talking through that hot take with me. I love Steve Bartlett. He's a badass.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, my friend, there was a lot said in that intro about you. And I want to, you are in business with your sister.
I am.
And DPI, until I started doing the research on you and preparing for our time together, I didn't know that came from your mom. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So my mom was had a previous pregnancy, and when the second pregnancy had twins, she would just say to us as we were growing up, "You're my double portion blessing." And that inspiration of our mother and just what she would say and speak over us became the DPI. Yeah.
Wow. And how long have you guys been in business now?
This will be our 6th year.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. So what is this experience for you been like, running your own business with your sister?
It's transformative. I never thought that I would be one that would be in business for myself. But when the door closed in 2020 and corporate said, you are fired and let go. And I had been a part of so many different reorgs and rifts, reduction in force. And so finally it was my time. And I was somewhat ready for it because, you sit and you kind of see the writing on the wall.
Yes.
when is it going to be my time? And so 2020 was just that kind of perfect storm. And I absolutely understood the business decision that was needed to be made at that time. But I just remember hearing the word completion, that part one of my career was over and there was something new that would be unfolding. What normally happens is when something very life changing like that happens, we want to go back to the familiar. So of course, I'm like looking at jobs and trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? And it was my beautiful husband that said, think outside of just working for someone else. You can decide to go back to work or not. And just that freedom to make a decision that I had never even explored in my mind was transformative for me. Wow. I was able to sit in a different space.
But how did you make that decision? How did you get this? This is important because right now there are many folks who are going through a similar experience. So what did you need to do in your head to get there?
I had an executive coach. That was part of my package. And so that executive coach really helped me, have a different internal conversation than I had in the past, because my success was defined by, goals and scorecards and performance reviews. And so she helped me understand, here are your strengths. Here are the skills that you've acquired with this great experience. God doesn't waste any type of your experiences. And with that, how does it transfer into being a business owner? Because I had this idea and I had people who were saying, hey, think about this, right? There's always that squad out there cheering you on. You're like, no. But I can tell you, fear did come very quickly.
Oh yeah.
The moment you decide, right? There's excitement and then fear is right there.
Yes. And then knowing what to do with that fear and having her putting them in their place.
Yes.
Right. So you can move forward and make the decision and execute on the decision anyway. Right.
Yes.
It's so funny because I remember when you and I met, and you're just like so together, and you're so like your business and your sister, so impressed by you and the work that you've done and continue to do. And then you posted something the other day on LinkedIn, and I'll never forget it. You talked about, and it might have been a quote from your book about comparison, not comparing yourself to others, like do your own journey. Did you find yourself in that same place when you made that decision?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're looking for that roadmap, right? With 25 years, I have been in corporate. And so there was always someone who set a bar for me, and I could reach that bar. I didn't create the bar, right? Like I knew what I needed to achieve. I knew, yes, I created goals within my department and division and all of that. But when I first came into entrepreneurship, right, I didn't have that. And so I would look to the left, look to the right, look on social media. And the longer I was doing that, I was like, this is taking me off course of what I really want to do.
Yeah.
I don't understand under other people's paths. So when I am consulting my business owners and business leaders, the first question I ask, what is your measure of success? How do you define it? And I think when you start there, then you can build a roadmap around that measure of success. But comparison is incredibly dangerous. And you start looking at all the wrong numbers that don't really translate into the joy you need to have in your own life.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. All right. So I've been teasing up about all of our episodes are all inspired by our guest. And when you indicated what you're thinking through, you started talking about decision fatigue. And that's the reason why I was like, decision fatigue is a joy killer. And so you spoke recently at NABO, National Association for Women Business Owners, which I need to look into, by the way. And your title was in Chicago called Decision Fatigue is Real, How Leaders Can Protect Their Energy. And I teed it up before about, you said to like decide and then let the system carry the load. What does that mean?
Yes.
How do we
Yeah.
put it into action?
Yeah, I was excited. I was in Puerto Rico at the our national conference. It was a leadership academy, and had the opportunity to talk to a room of business owners. And I asked the question of like, what is heavy right now? What is the heavy decision that you need to make? Because what normally happens is we're so entrenched in the smaller decisions that are repetitive, where we can build a system, and it's not about doing less, but it is about deciding less often, so that when we are needing to make the large decisions, right? Where do I make my capital investments? Who is the next person that I'm going to hire? What do I need to drive this project forward? We're not exhausted because we've already set a system in place. And so the framework that I came up with is like, let's make a deal. I said to the ladies, like, let's make a deal in the middle of the workshop. And they're like, what? And it's, how do we delegate? And this is an acronym. How do we eliminate? Some decisions don't need us at all. And you talked about that in your monologue, that sometimes we are in the middle of making decisions and sometimes complicating the entire process because we're not even in our lane of brilliance. So E, eliminate, A, automate. And that is become a little bit easier in 2026 in regards to, you know, AI and just our digital capabilities in regards to that. And then the L is when we delegate, eliminate, and automate, we're able to leverage and protect our energy for those high stakes decisions that we need to make. And for some, it could be, and I'm talking personal as well as professionally, right? The two come together. It could be, I'm dealing with an elderly parent and there's a lot of decisions that I need to make, right? So what college will my child attend? So, but we need to protect the energy by delegating, eliminating, automating to leverage our capacity to make the high stakes decisions.
Wow, I absolutely love that. Where would we be able to get and reference back to that acronym?
I can send it to you, and you can send it out to the Joy Squad.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because it really. I mean, I love a good framework and a good framework and a good acronym because it just helps, it helps you to remember. Right? It helps you remember. So you were in front of a bunch of women business owners, and I pulled some stats here about decision fatigue because you talk about the fact that it hits women the hardest. And so I want to go there. I'm in front of you, but let me give you the stat first. It says that because data backs you up. 43% of women in leadership report burnout versus 31% of men. And that gap has doubled since 2019. So from your experience in all the years that you've been leading, why are we carrying this heavier than our male counterparts? Why is that?
It's a part of the mental load as well that women are carrying. And as sometimes the purchasing officer in their homes and the decision maker in their homes, right? They're deciding, what gift to buy for that party that they have for their child that weekend, or they're deciding who's the event planner going to be. They might be volunteering and they're deciding how do we get consensus on when we're going to have our next meeting. It goes beyond just our work environments. I mean, heck, the decisions it took to figure out what I was going to wear this morning for the Joy Squad, right? Like all of that really factors into the amount of decisions that we are making. And I'll tell you why I even went down this path. As I've worked with business owners, I hear business owners and business leaders at the point of burnout. Burnout is this place where, it takes a long road to come back from burnout. And there's these signs. Think about warning signs when you're driving. It is lets you know what's up ahead, right? Like if the road is curving, those warning signs. And as I start thinking and really researching, it's decisions. The amount of decisions is a precursor. It allows us the opportunity to, the quality of our decisions are not as strong. And for me, the way that I started down this path, I had a horrible day. One of those days as a business owner, and my son came in and he said, "Mom, what's for dinner?" And I just flew off the handle. And I knew that reaction, there was something deeper that I needed to sit with and process.
Yeah.
And that is where I really start looking at what can I do that I am just able to make less decisions. And the way that this shows up in a very practical way in my home is I do meals on rotations. I don't think about, that's the system that I have. Mondays is roasted chicken. Tuesdays is Taco Tuesdays. Wednesday, there's an Italian dish. Thursdays, we're going to have turkey burgers. Fridays is going to be a fish night. Like that rotation helps me. Yeah. This is very practical. So once I have made that decision, it helps me in every aspect of my life.
Wow, that is so cool. I bet you there are folks that are listening right now that are like jotting down, like, wait, what night is what? Because that's one less thing you have to think about, right?
One less thing I have to think about. I now have a notes of grocery list that is shared between our entire family. So I'm not trying to decide while I'm in the grocery store what we need.
Yeah.
Make a decision, let the system carry the weight so that you're protecting your energy for the larger high stakes decisions you need to make.
You go, girl. You go, girl. I will never think about decisions the same way again after this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Following you and your thought leadership. It's really amazing. And speaking about your thought leadership, I know we're almost out of time with you, but I want to give you a chance to talk about this book. So it's called What's Next? The Unspoken Truths Every Business Leader Needs to Hear. So if you had to leave us with one, like, what is the major truth you think that we really do need to hear, at least for today?
Oh,
you need to hear.
That's so good. It starts with your mindset. You are completely capable. The very first section of that book was mindset.
Yep, it starts with you.
It starts,
which I loved.
You. Yes, it starts with you. The way that I was in corporate, I thought it was always tactical, and people were always asking what's next. You're filling out your IDPs, individual development plans, and your performance reviews, and it's like, well, what's next for you? What's next for you? What's next for you? That's why I wrote that book, What's Next, and really understanding how do you create a roadmap on what is next for you? What is the right next step to take? But it is your mindset. It's knowing that you are capable, that you are strong, that you've made it past your worst day, you've survived that, and that sets a precedent for you to make it moving forward on those tough days, as well as those celebratory days.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So my friend, I can literally, it's like, I just going to talk to you all day long. I know you got stuff to do, but I just want you to leave our viewers with some words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. What's a parting word you'd like to share with everybody?
This is what I will say, and I actually watched your segment about the power of no. No is a complete sentence.
It is.
And what you are saying no to allows you to say yes to a brand new opportunity. So there is such a power in no. I was a yes person, and I have learned how to say no and say it unapologetically and with confidence. And I know, Joy Squad, you're able to do it as well.
Wow. How's that changed your life by doing that?
Oh my goodness. It opens me up to not be, I have margin in my day. I did not know I would bounce from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. Mm-hmm. There was always these misalignment of values that, you have no meeting Friday, yet my Friday would be filled with meetings. Yeah, I get to be true to my own values. And so the power of no has allowed me to do that and have margin in my day.
Ah, that's beautiful. Roslyn, will you come back?
Yes.
Oh, I would love to have you back. There's so much more we can talk about. So much more. You're so wise. Thank you. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Thank you for sharing your thought leadership with us and with the squad. And I look forward to what's next for you.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you.
And what's next for all of us. So I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Bye, Roz.
Bye.
Bye. Gosh, it's always the hardest part is saying bye to my guests. We will talk, though. We will talk. All right. Thank you, love. See ya. Have a good day.
Yes.
Woo! All right. Joy Squad, Roslyn Rice. She's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Roslyn, for being here. And hey, it's time for Beatrice and Atlas to make an appearance again, as usual.
I had a whole list of reasons why letting go wouldn't work. But she is running 2 businesses simultaneously. It ruins my entire argument.
That is the beauty of lived wisdom, Beatrice. When someone else has navigated the fire, the excuses tend to burn away.
Decide once. Let the system carry the load. It sounds brilliant on a stage, but how do you actually execute that on a Tuesday?
You stop staring at the massive pile and you isolate the noise. You audit what is genuinely yours to carry.
So I don't have to fix the whole operation today. I just have to stop remaking the exact same choice.
Exactly. The bravest decision is the one you make once and trust. Let's let Sheryl show you how to sort the buckets.
Oh, Beatrice, I love when you come around. She really does, because Atlas gets her there. And did you guys check out they're in a new studio. They're in like a new setting, which looks pretty cool. That's the team, amazing team. So squad, new cycle 3 starts now. And we are back at the beginning. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to be naming the truth as part of Joy Aware. So it all starts with awareness, and we're telling the truth about something we've been avoiding. So this week, I've got another audit for you. By the way, I am really thinking about putting all of this together in some sort of workbook for everybody. So stay tuned for that, because from week to week, there's a lot of really great audits and reflection exercises for all of us to work on those joy killers. So Roslyn gave us the framework, decide once, and then let the system carry the load. And now, based upon that awesome conversation with her, we know what that means in some of her systems. So we're going to find what we're carrying, a load. What load are we carrying that should already have a system? So the first step in this is the decision inventory. This is going to take a couple of days. This is not something you're going to be able to do right now. So for 2 days this week, I want you to keep a running list of every decision you make. And I'm going to do this along with you too, and I'll share next week what my results are. So big ones, small ones, all of them, write them down, put them in your notes app, sticky notes, whatever, notebook, whatever works for you, but write them down. And then the second step is you're going to sort. So at the end of those 2 days, sort your decisions into these 3 buckets. There is a red bucket. And the red bucket is decisions I make every day that should already be a system. So these are the ones that are draining you, the recurring choices that could be automated, templated, delegated, or eliminated. So Roslyn gave a really great example of a red, like every single day, she now has a system for figuring out what's on the menu for her and her family for dinner. So the second bucket is yellow. And these are decisions that aren't mine to make, but I took them on anyway. Okay. Those are the ones you grab because you were afraid of what would happen if something else, went wrong, or, it's a whole leadership control kind of thing. And then the third bucket, that's the green bucket. These are the decisions that really genuinely require my judgment, my values, my leadership. These are the ones that should be on your plate. You protect them, and this is really where your joy lives. Okay, so that was the second step. We're going to put them into red, yellow, green bucket. And then the third decision, this is the one that you'll probably find the hardest, but you're going to pick one red bucket decision, just one for right now, and you're going to do it. You're going to build a system for it this week. Today is Wednesday, so you're going to track either starting today, Thursday, Friday. So by the weekend, okay? So you're going to build a system, a template, you're going to delegate it, you're going to set a boundary, you're going to automate a process, whatever it needs to be, but make it so that you don't have to make that decision again. That's your joy shift for this week. That's how you're going to get some of that space back. And so if you're ready next week, I'm going to ask you, and even in the app when it starts with joy.live, tell us what you're systematizing. And watch what happens when together as a community, we start learning. Because honestly, if I look and I see, there's an idea that Assunta made. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I can do that too. Or I might be thinking something else. So I just want us to get into the habit of sharing with each other on a community and fill up our space and decrease those joy killers one decision at a time. One decision at a time.
Sorting those buckets takes courage. But let's be honest, when you're unlearning years of survival mode, you rarely do it in isolation.
Spot on, Zola. The framework is decide once and let the system carry the load. But sometimes that system is a person.
It's the partner who holds the line when you're too tired to see the sky, the one who absorbs the weather.
The quiet anchor. They don't remake the choice to support you every morning. They decided once, years ago, and simply stood firm.
Those are the chapters that never make the press release. The kitchen table grace that makes the boardroom victories possible.
Quite right, Zola. It's time to shine a light on one of those anchors. Sheryl, over to you.
Yes, squad. Woohoo! So today I'm doing Shine a Light a little bit differently because today is April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. And I need to tell you about someone who has never once let me fool myself. Like, he just does not let it happen. Today is my wedding anniversary. So 13 years married, 16 years together, and 13 is my lucky number because I was born on the 13th. And because the universe has a sense of humor, it's also the 2-year anniversary of the day I told corporate to adieu, right? So 2 years today that I left corporate. Wow. Same day, same man standing next to me for those milestones. So shining light today on my husband, Dwayne. He didn't build the platform. He didn't write a book yet. He hasn't given a TED talk yet. But he did make one decision 13 years ago, and he has let that decision carry every single day since. That's what Roslyn talked about today. Decide once and let it carry the load. And that's what he has done. When I was still in corporate, exhausted, over deciding, carrying everything and calling it leadership, he was the person who looked me straight in the eye, and he's the one who said, and made me realize that the sky is still there. And unlike a lot of guys, he didn't try to fix it. He didn't lecture me. He just kept reminding me that what was going on in my life at the time, it wasn't permanent, and that the clouds would move, and that I was more than the decisions that I found myself drowning in. And so when I finally walked away 2 years ago from my job, he didn't say, "Are you sure?" He said, "It's time." And that's why it's so cool what Roslyn said about her husband, because it was the same kind of support that I got from Dwayne. 2 words, no hesitation, because he'd already decided. He decided 13 years ago when we got married. So that is what it looks like when joy is leading instead of fear. That is decide once, let the system carry the load. Lived out in a marriage, in an amazing and incredible partnership that I have with this man, an incredible life that we have built together. He didn't need to remake a decision every time things got hard. He made it once, and he has shown up for me and for my family, our moms, everybody, every single day. And I'm going to get through, start crying. So I can be here with you today and tell you to choose joy because someone chose it with me first. I can tell you the sky is always there because someone keeps pointing up when all I could see on those days when all I could see are the clouds. So today's Shine a Light is for the person who sees you and who sees me on many of those days when I can't see myself. The one who reminds me that the weather isn't permanent, and the one who decided once, never wavered. So happy 13th to the love of my life, Dwayne, my lucky number. I love you so much, and I thank you for always being my breath of fresh air and for shining the light on me every day. Happy anniversary. I can't wait to celebrate with you. So squad, if you have someone like that, tell them today. Don't wait for an anniversary. Don't wait for the right moment. The light isn't just for stages. Sometimes, like Zola said, sometimes it's for kitchen tables. And I'll just say a happy anniversary to me. 2 years free, building something that matters and dancing with all of you, squad. Oh, thank you so much for my own amazing. Hi, Monique. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, more Humber. I really appreciate you. So dancing on Wednesdays, not too bad for someone who left on April Fool's Day. Not too bad. Okay, whoo, made it through that. We are in the home stretch now, guys. Home stretch now. So Mildred, run this video. One quick thing. I mean, this is like a quick thought on this video. Let's see if you can bring it up there. All right, so while she brings it up, all right, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love airport arrivals. So I don't know if you've seen this one, but I saw this early this week and I just loved it. So this guy, his name is Will Stewart. He posted this about, first of all, he said he was a weird kid. His words, Star Trek, magic, opera. While his whole family watched sports, he was watching Captain Picard and listening to Pavarotti. And he said his grandma was the one person who matched his weird. She would record Star Trek and make his favorite food, and never once did she ever try to change him. And he said this thing that just pulls it all together for me this week: kindness is a system. And I thought, whoa, holy shit, like that's us. Because let's be real, right? We're different. We show up on a Wednesday morning to talk about joy as a strategy. We dance, we audit our decisions and all kinds of stuff and sort them into buckets. We shout out, fear lost, joy won. And we mean it. And that is different. And that is special. You can go ahead and run it there, Mildred. Because if you see here, what's happening is they decided they were going to surprise his grandma with their
needed the shelter of someone's arms.
Yeah. But the thing is, she surprised them. Oh my God. So
there you were.
I think this is a cool thing. I watched this and it made me cry. Okay, Mildred, thank you. It made me cry because here they are waiting to like surprise grandma in these like dinosaur costumes, and then she comes out on her own, and it's like, oh my God. So if you're watching this and thinking like, wow, these are my people, right? Because that's how I felt when I watched this. Like, that's his grandma, that's his person. Well, you guys are my people, and I'm hoping that you're finding that here too. So it starts with joy.live. That's where we live. And shine your light and match someone else's weird, because someone has to go first. Someone has to go first with all this, guys. And it just might as well be us. So here we are, squad. That's it. Episode 9. Thank you so much for showing up again. We opened a new cycle today, cycle 3, Joy Aware. We named the truth that we've been avoiding. We're figuring out our decisions. We're exhausted because we're deciding too much, and we're changing that through the audits that we're doing today. I don't know if you can hear Bella. Bella is crying right now. My dog Bella, I can hear her in the background. Roslyn showed us what it looks like to turn all of this around. She told us so much, shared a lot about herself and her own corporate pain and what was on the other side of that, with a double portion of inspiration. And Roslyn, love you, my friend. Thank you so much for your honesty, for your framework, and for being here and being a part of the squad. And the squad, thank you. Thank you so much, as always, for being here every week. Can't say enough about that. And the It Starts With Joy live team, kicking butt. We are doing this every single week and getting better and better every week. So next week, we're going to be talking about, it's week 2 in the cycle. So joy embraced. We accept it. We don't surrender to it. We accept it. We embrace it, and we move on. And we have an amazing guest who I've been waiting forever to bring on this show. I have known her for 57 years of my life. Yeah, it's my baby sister, Sharon Diaz is going to be with us. And the energy between the two of us, we just might break the internet. But this week, so I'm excited about that. But this week, just name it. Audit your decisions. Find the ones that don't belong on your plate anymore. And build one system that's going to carry one load. That, my friends, is how we're going to get our joy space back. Because the sky was there the whole time. We just have to look up. All right, guys. Fear lost. Joy won. We did it again. Let's keep dancing. Mwah. Love you. Bye.
Track every single decision for 2 days? I'm already on decision 47 and it's only breakfast. This audit requires its own spreadsheet.
Sis, you're proving the exact point. You don't need a spreadsheet. You just need to pick one red bucket item and automate it.
Automate? You mean let a system decide things without my direct supervision? That sounds entirely too reckless.
It feels reckless because you're used to the noise, love. The spiral begins again, but you aren't the same person who started cycle 1.
You're aware now, so build that one system. Let it carry the load. And please, put the clipboard down.
Fear lost today, Joy Squad. Let's see what you build before we meet again next Wednesday.